Okay, so this is going to be the single and double replacement lab data for applications in chemistry. If you are a Chemistry 1 student, this is not the video for you. Go find the right video. But applications in chemistry, here we go. So if we look here, this is the single replacement section of the lab, okay? I've got 2 pieces of magnesium, those 2 little rectangular strips there, really shiny, silvery strip of metal. And then I have 2 pieces of zinc, and this is zinc shot, so it's a specific kind of zinc, and it's like a shiny little pellet of zinc, okay, little circular. There's one on the table. It's pretty hard to focus on something that's this shiny, okay, so there you go, that's what it looks like. Okay, so in our lab, for the first reaction in the single replacement lab, we have magnesium plus Iron Iii Chloride. So I'm going to take my bottle of FeCl3 and I'm going to cover my piece of magnesium with drops of FeCl3. Okay, can you guys see a reaction happening there? So there's some observations. We'll come back and look at this again, but I just wanted you to take a look at the reaction as it first starts. Okay. Next piece of magnesium is our second reaction, magnesium plus silver nitrate. So AgNO3 is our silver nitrate. If we look at this bottle here, AgNO3, I'm going to go ahead and cover my piece of magnesium, my second one, with drops of silver nitrate. Okay, well that didn't take very much at all. Let's see if we can focus in on that again. So I hope you noticed the color change right away, but we're going to come back again and look at that later. Okay, reaction number 3 was zinc plus Iron Iii nitrate. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that dropper bottle of Iron Iii Chloride, again, and I'm going to cover the zinc with drops of Iron Iii Chloride. Okay, and we'll come back and look at that. And the final one was zinc plus copper 2 chloride. So I'm going to cover this one with copper 2 chloride. And just, to verify, there is CuCl2. That was my copper 2 chloride. Okay? Okay, so we're going to come back over here. Observations for the first reaction. Make sure that you record what you're seeing happening there. Hopefully you can clearly see the bubbles being emitted there. So that is gas production. That is one of our possible signs of chemical change. Here we have our magnesium. Now remember, before that magnesium looked like just like a silver rectangle. Nice crisp lines. Okay, now this one kind of looks like it's fuzzy. I can't really zoom in any better than this with my camera, but the fuzziness right there, those are actually crystals of silver forming on the surface of the magnesium. So pretty cool reaction. When you're here in person, you can see it much better than a video. All right, this one, again, not super visible in terms of reacting. I'm going to remind you what this piece of zinc looked like before by going back to the table. So when we look at this one, let's see, really shiny little silver round piece of zinc, okay? Once we go back up here and we look at this one, I hope you can see there's little tiny bubbles all over it, okay? In a while, it will also change colors, so we'll come back and we'll look at that one in a little while just to save us some time. And then this one, this is the zinc with the copper chloride. You can definitely see a color change on that one. Totally black, definitely changed color. The copper is forming and oxidizing on the surface of that zinc. Okay, double replacement lab has 4 reactions as well. The first one was copper chloride with sodium hydroxide. So what we're doing in this one, because we have 2 compounds and they're both aqueous, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put copper chloride drops, just about 5 drops right there. And then I'm adding to it some sodium hydroxide. Okay, so I'm going to put some drops of sodium hydroxide in there because that is reaction number 1 in the double replacement lab, is copper 2 chloride plus sodium hydroxide. So I'm going to put some drops in, and then we can look here. Okay, you you see that little cloudy substance, kind of wispy in there? That is what a precipitate can look like. And it is a nice little bright blue, light blue color. Okay. The second reaction was the Iron Iii Chloride. So again, this nice clear orange solution. I'm going to take that one, put some drops in here. So we can get a good look again. So we're looking for clarity there. The left one, we can see all those wispy that precipitate, right? The right one here, I haven't added the sodium hydroxide yet, but this is the before. Now I'm going to add that sodium hydroxide and get our reaction. Okay, and now it looks kind of like orange mud, right? So that's a precipitate, a solid that's forming in the mixture of two solutions. Okay. Our third one is going to be, I believe, cobalt chloride. If I'm wrong, just make sure that you put the observations in the correct place, okay? But here's my cobalt chloride, Cobalt II chloride. Put some drops in. Again, I'll show you the chemical formula on the bottle there, COCl2. And I'm going to add to it some sodium hydroxide, just like all the other ones in the double replacement lab. So add some sodium hydroxide. And then we get this nice purple or dark blue precipitate. So again, the cloudiness in all three of these is a precipitate. When you mix two solutions and you get a solid that's floating around in there, that is a precipitate. And then the final one, we have nickel chloride, nickel, NiCl2 is a nice green solution. I'm going to squirt some of that into our fourth well here. Okay, and then I'm going to add some sodium hydroxide to it. So, okay, that's the before right there. Okay, and our after, we get a nice either pale green or white. I can't really tell, but it's definitely a precipitate. Again, cloudy substance. It might be white with that pale green color coming from the leftover nickel chloride, or it might be a green precipitate. We would have to separate them out to figure that out, but go ahead and put your observations however you see them for these four reactions. Okay, I'm going to go back up and look at that third reaction from the first lab, that single replacement. Now we can clearly see the bubbles forming on the surface of that piece of zinc. So they're much bigger now, so that's a little bit easier to interpret that. If we look over here, we can see both of our pieces of magnesium are doing some cool stuff. That first one, again, is still bubbling, so it's still definitely reacting with the iron chloride. But it's also turning a dark burnt orange. I don't know if you can tell that the surface of the metal is actually turning orange. And this one is just disintegrating, okay? The magnesium is just, it's all reacted and it just left behind little silver crystals in the well of the microwell plate. So here is our final one. Oh, there we go. We get some nice copper color coming out on this reaction as well, on the fourth one. Okay, so they take a little bit of time, but there we go. That is all four single replacements in the top row and all four of the double replacements in the bottom row. Get your observations written and then answer your post-lab questions.